Welcome to our viewers across Nigeria and all over the world. It's the conversation on TOS Television Network, your digital first pan-African news network. And thank God it's Friday. It's the end of the week. The week finally come to a close and I'm so excited about it. I am Adesi Wasi.
And I am Merciful Ajinomo. Good morning, Adesi.
Good morning.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Happy weekend to you.
Happy weekend.
Yeah.
Do people say that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, happy weekend.
It's the weekend. It's time for rest and everything. How's your
Okay.
weekend going to be like?
I don't know yet, but it's looking good. I mean, it's Friday, so I think I'm looking like Friday, right?
Definitely.
Okay, as always, before we kick start the show proper, we'll be bringing you the quote of the day. That was Mr. Rogers right there, giving us some Friday morning motivation. Be kind. It's the weekend, so be kind to everyone. I mean, what's the what better way to live life or to be a human than to show kindness and lots of it? So basically, one way to be ultimately successful is to be kind. What do you think, Wes?
We can overemphasize the importance of, kindness.
Kindness,
I think
yeah.
you should be more kind to me than you are already.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow,
That's what I think.
I'm a kind person.
I know you are. I mean, I say you be more kind. Because really, if we just go around society
Yeah.
and showing kindness to everyone, the world would be a better place.
Exactly.
If our politicians are kind to us, if they are kind to humanity, the world would be a better place.
I mean,
so
you have the interest
kindness
of the next person.
touches every aspect of society.
Yeah,
really.
true that. All right, so be kind, people. Show kindness from now onward. Let kindness be your mantra. Okay, we're moving straight into developments across Africa, starting from here in Nigeria, going straight to Imo State, where the governor, Hope Uzodinma, has revealed that there's a reliable research on those who pleaded with hoodlums to cause the recent havoc in the state. The governor stated that he has decided not to mention names. However, he affirmed that the state government is working tirelessly to make sure that those who sponsored the attack be brought to book. Governor Uzodinma said paid politicians in the country are the ones behind national insecurity in the country. Standing on the side of the current administration, the APC governor said critics of the President Muhammadu Buhari regime have made up their minds to bring down the government as they have gone far to support attacks in Ebonyi and Imo states, which are the only two APC states in the southeast. While the governor poured out his mind in an interview observed by TOS TV network, he shunned the claim that IPOD members carried out the terrible act.
Yeah, and I really, we've waited for this news. We were still waiting for more results.
Yeah,
because
it's
there's still a research going on. So yeah, he has shunned, the news that is IPOD carried attacks now. So we cannot wait and see the politicians
I
behind
just
the
want to
people
know,
behind.
yeah, we just
so
want
justice can be done because we lost a lot of property.
Lots
Some
of
people were
lives
injured and
lost
everything.
it,
So
yeah.
we have to get to the bottom
We
of
have
it.
to get to the bottom of it, definitely.
All right, we move over to still a story on Nigeria, where federal government, through the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire, has asked resident doctors to call off their strike. He said this on Wednesday, April 7th, in Abuja, at a media briefing to celebrate World Health Day. The aggrieved doctors who began strike on Thursday, April 1st, complained bitterly about the non-payment of salaries of 3 to 5 months, no recruitment of house officers, non-payment of national minimum wage, abolishment of the bench fees for doctors undergoing training in other hospitals, and hazard allowances. While delivering his speech, Ehanire said the strike came at a crucial time as people are in need of urgent health care. He also stated that the house officers have started to receive their deserved entitlement. In his statement, he said, "We are working assiduously to address other issues raised by the doctors, mindful of the huge human resource for health challenges and hard work to build them and expand it. We encourage setting up more training institutions for the health workers."
Well, that statement is very, very plausible and very true. And I think over time on the show, we've literally said we can't afford a doctor strike at this time. It's a very crucial time for doctors to not be at the hospital. And I think they should have thought about that, before actually it gets into this point where they actually have to, embark on the strike. But now the strike action has happened. Okay, so moving forward, what can we do? I like that, they're beginning to come to, a conclusion, an agreement
Come to
that,
terms, yeah, with
look,
factors,
we
yeah.
need you guys back at the hospital. So I think talks are on the table. What can we do to get you back on the table? I mean, they cannot readily just provide everything that they need at this point, like right now, immediately. But I hope things are in the works to ensure that their demands are met and everything they're asking for met. But in the interim, doctors should please return to the hospital, because I'm tired of seeing, footages and pictures, videos of people who maybe lives were lost or stuff, happened because there was no doctor on the ground to treat them. Yeah, so they should please listen to us and return to the hospital. Okay, staying with Abuja, where the CBN has freezed 11 business accounts. Federal High Court in Abuja has given an order to the Central Bank of Nigeria to freeze some accounts. This order was given to enable the court to carry out findings into some suspicious happenings. The order included 11 names, which are Belfour Energy and Allied Services, Belfour Oil and Gas Limited with 3 bank accounts, Albert Austin Ugochukwu with 2 bank accounts, Casinos Reality Nigeria Limited with 3 bank accounts, Cycle Flow Integrated Services, and Tasmara Integrated Services. It was disclosed in 2 documents that were posted on CBN's website on Wednesday. Report has it that the document has a connection with one Oluwatoyosi Suweba Toladipo, who is an assistant manager of the CBN. The motion experte, which had a date on 12th of March and was filed on the 16th of March, and it sought the mandatory order of the court to direct First City Monument Bank Limited to freeze all transactions on accounts and all other bank accounts of the defendants for 180 days until the outcome of the investigation carried out by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Well, we'll move over to sports, talking about the Super Eagles and the FIFA ranking table. World Football Governing Body FIFA has released the ranking table of April, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria has moved up 4 steps higher, becoming the 32nd best football team in the world. The 2013 African Cup of Nations champion moved 4 steps higher, leaving the likes of Morocco and Algeria behind them in the ranking table released in April by the Federation of International Football Association FIFA on Thursday. The Super Eagles closed out African qualifier with 2 wins, scoring 4 goals without conceding. The team won in their encounters with Benin Republic and Lesotho in the last qualifying matches for the rescheduled African Cup of Nations Cup scheduled for Cameroon in January 2022.
I'm very proud of our Super Eagles. I think I'm always proud of our Super Eagles, actually. They keep,
regardless whether,
regardless, because they keep, raising the bar. I know there are times when
they put work
they
in.
they kind of, disappoint us. But it's sports; it happens, right? We can't win
Highs and
all
lows,
the time.
balance and
But I'm literally always proud of them. I mean, there was a time when they wouldn't even be called, they wouldn't even rank 3rd place in Africa. But look, Morocco, they're ahead of Morocco, ahead of even Egypt. So it's really, really applaudable, and like I said, very proud of Super Eagles.
Definitely.
Super Eagles.
Go Super Eagles. We're proud.
Okay, with that, we'll wrap up, Development Across Africa segment of the conversation. We're going to be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. And after that, we're bringing you newspaper updates from, Nigeria.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of 2 evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some they sleep. They're going to ask how much we are on. I have it.
thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Usasu Igbenedion, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back. That was COVID-19 update from across Africa, and it's my custom. As is my custom, after showing you the numbers, I'll always tell you, and I think I'm not ever going to get tired of telling you to take precautions until we can boldly say that we've eradicated or we've completely don't have to worry about COVID-19 anymore. Maybe just through vaccinations or herd immunity, or we have herd immunity against COVID-19. I'm going to keep telling you to take precautions, proper precautions, do your part so that the next person, you and the next person, is going to be safe. And so we can see reduction in the numbers of active cases, the number of deaths, and increase in the number, of recoveries that we have, recoveries from COVID-19. Okay, having said that, we're going to move straight into newspaper headlines for this morning, and I'm going to be starting from the Blueprint newspaper. From the very top, ICRC okays $21 million Jabi Lake Tourism Project. And then underneath that, Shell's yearly payments to federal government down for 2.5%, lowest in 6 years. And just, beside that one, why Osun is investing in healthcare, says Oyetola, that's the governor of Osun State. Aisha Buhari net 155 million naira at book launch. That book launch happened yesterday. And then going over to the very gaping headline on the Blueprint newspaper. Barely 24 hours after IGP Baba takes over, gunmen hit third Imo police station, abduct monarch and cabinet shifts. 4 riders under the headline. The first one, police ignored intelligence over attacks. That's coming from the ex-DSS chief. Abia government discovers explosives in Umuahia Primary School. Pandemonium in Aba over gunshots, and don't politicize security threats, Okorocha tells Uzodinma. And then underneath the picture of the day, we'll see this headline saying, Bandits challenging Nigeria's sovereignty. That's coming from the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Under that one, urges decentralized police judiciary, and 6, implementation of national livestock plan. And then just underneath that, 19 die of cholera in Bayelsa State. COVID-19, Senate fault federal government's conversion of PTF to steering committee. We didn't detain Churchill Buhari's official driver. That's coming from the DSS. And then the last headline on the Blueprint newspaper this morning, and Kaduna State mass sack looms as government moves to retire workers above 50 years. Those are the headlines, on the Blueprint newspaper this morning. And I think I do not like how I think there's already so much pressure on the new Inspector General of Police, because the headline is saying, barely 24 hours, this already happened. Give him time to settle. I mean, I know he doesn't have time he has to hit the ground running, because he's already been in the system, there's a problem on ground. Yeah. He has to hit the ground running. But we cannot start, jumping on him. We have to give him time, to do stuff. And he's not going to be doing it alone. There are other security forces that he has to work hand in hand with. So but again, I get why this is happening, because it's the police stations that are being attacked. So the focus is on the police chief and all of that. But we should also give him time. And I hope this morning when I was reading Governor Hope Uzodinma's statement saying paying politicians are the one sponsoring or doing this to Nigeria, talking about the insecurity issue, and this they're telling him not to politicize. Look, whatever it is, let's not start, politicizing it. Let's not blame it on politics and politicians. Let's not turn it into political, analysis or political beef or statement. Let's all work together. I think it's that time. Right now, what the country needs is every hands on deck. Whether you're an opposition party, you belong to the same party, the ruling party, we'll have to work together to ensure that Nigeria is safe for everyone.
Yeah, and I'm curious about what the ex-DSS chief is saying, that the police are ignoring intelligence over the attack. And that's something I think I really need to pick up a copy,
Yes, we need to do that to see
because, we've been saying we need everything that we can do, to ensure that this issue of insecurity is brought to a full stop, to a halt completely. So if we're saying we should leverage on, tactics, intelligence, digitizing, methods and mechanisms of, tech to ensure that all this, and then why not? Why is this person alleging that they're ignoring intelligence? So I think that's why people should grab a copy of the Blueprint newspaper. All right, we move over to the next newspaper here, and that's the News Direct. And we'll begin from the very top, and that's President Muhammadu Buhari saying, "I'm taking a short rest in London," coming from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then besides that, is federal government to meet resident doctors Friday. That can be found on page 5 of the News Direct. And COVID-19, federal government extends work from home for civil servants till month end. And that can be found on page 5 of the News Direct. And then to the very obvious headline, talking about illegal FX transactions, talking about the Forex market, CBN orders banks to freeze 205 accounts. And the right underneath says, Belfor Energy tops list. That particular story on the Forex market and freezing of the account can be found on page 3 of the News Direct. And then just beside the picture of the day, we see about 3 headlines there. The first one is, man burns ex-lover, 2 children to death in Ibadan. A sad story there that can be found on page 4. And underneath that story, JAMB shift registration date over NIN integration challenge. Others that can be found on page 4. And then LOC, talking about local organizing committee, backs down on threat to shut down 20th NSF. And that can be found on page 4 of the News Direct. And just underneath the picture of the day, we're talking about the Ramadan, Dangote flour mills, BUA, fight over sugar production market price. That can be found on page 2. And then just besides that, we see 3 headlines on the newspaper News Direct. Be civil in your duties, coming from Abiodun, charging Nigerian army, saying be civil in your duties. And that can be found on page 3 of the News Direct. And then underneath is talking about Nigerian University Commission, NUC, offering provisional licenses to 20 new private universities. That can be found on page 3 of the News Direct. And the last headline on the newspaper is, NNPCS shows KB state of commitment to renewable energy project. And that can be found on page 16 of the News Direct.
What do you think about JAMB, the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, making NIN registration compulsory, like as a prerequisite for registering for JAMB, examination? What do you think about it?
I really think it's not really an important thing. We've been on this journey for so long. I mean, it's lasted more than a year, 2 years, talking about NIN is important. We even spoke about the news that, they will introduce a jail term for people who do not have NIN. I think talking about 14 years or something. And now you're extending this to, young Nigerians who have to focus on education, focus on studying, to write the JAMB. JAMB is one of the major examinations that in Nigerian,
basically the major
that in Nigerian must pass to.
Yes, you can't get into a tertiary institution.
It's like
almost
saying
cannot get into tertiary.
It's like saying JAMB and the National Youth Service Corps.
Yes.
Like the two of them are working hand in hand. So if you're saying you're pausing, that means people who do not register, by this implication, means people who do not register for NIN are not
going to write the exam. I'm more concerned about the process, the registration process to get your national identification number.
It's not even easy.
Because JAMB has a timeline for registration, right? So what happens if I've been going to the center to register, going and coming back and not getting it done? Because we know how those processes are in Nigeria, how it is. It's very tedious and it's very, it saps your energy. And then sometimes you go there and they tell you we're not registering today, go to this center, go there. And sometimes you go there and you meet a mammoth crowd trying to register. And because it's been linked, it's been made a prerequisite for registering for JAMB, you're obviously expecting a huge crowd, you know, at the registration centers. I don't think it's really crazy how, and I don't think it's necessary to actually link this registration
To
That's why we're
examination.
having to shift, because I think the numbers of persons that actually have NIN and have registered for JAM are kind of low. It doesn't mean, you know, the number of people that maybe register for JAM.
I think they are trying to like
register for JAM.
inculcate the registration process in every other basic registration
but
process,
this
so
is-
people
it-
will have
I
it.
understand
But
it,
still,
it's-
to what
it's
to
not-
what
end,
extent?
really?
Like, to
Because
what
it's
end?
not. It's not. I don't think it's going to work for that. So I think they should just bypass it, right? Maybe they could tell you can't check your results if you haven't, you know, registered.
Yeah,
for
and
NIN
then the people
or
are
stuff
calm,
that.
they
So
take their
you're
time.
raising the examiner. This is putting them under unnecessary pressure, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they need that at this time. They should have time to focus on, you know, wanting to write the exams rather than wanting to register for NIN
For
at
the
this time.
exams.
That's what I think. I'm not discouraging them from registering. I'm not discouraging anyone. Of course, you should have your
Yeah.
national identification number, but
It's
I
very
don't think having to put people under unnecessary pressure, you know, to get
To
the
get NIN.
number is important. Okay, moving away from that to the Daily Times, starting from the very top. Take war to terrorists, recover forest, Governor El-Rufai tells security chiefs. And then underneath that, we have says bandits have lost their right to life under Nigeria's constitution. Moving to the very gaping headline, clash of forces, interest in Shakiri land, war in Warri over Olu's throne. That story is on page 2 of the Daily Times, and we'll see of the picture of, you know, Chief Ayiri, and then we'll see the one of Prince Chola, and then we'll see, you know, Amaju Pinnick, you know, picture of the day. And then underneath that one, we have Olu of Warri throne. How Kingmakers picked Shola Emiko as new Olu designate in Order Ishekiri amidst controversy. That story is continued on page 20. And then on nation building, all hands must be on deck to salvage Nigeria. You know, that further buttresses what I said earlier. And then the last headline there, talking about strike action, you know, by resident doctors in Nigeria. Senate says striking doctors should be held responsible for death of any patient. What do you think about that one?
Yes, I think I'm backing that statement.
The doctors should be held responsible.
Yes, they
When it-
should. They really should. Of course, they'll be held responsible because they're not there. Even if no matter what's happening, they're going on strike. Look, we need this. It's important that they get, you know, their issues sorted and everything. But still, when you're leaving the hospital is like your primary place of assignment.
Yeah.
As a journalist, you're here because you're dishing information, you know, to people who are watching you. So if you're not there, the people are not going to blame government for not making the road, you know, easy for you to come here. They're going to blame, oh, Adeswa's not there to tell me what's happening. So that's who will hold responsible first. They will now ask them what's happening. They'll now tell us, look, we're waiting for the government, you know.
I
to
understand
help
your
us."
standpoint, and I think I agree to a large extent, but I still think the blame should go around. We
It's
cannot just-
definitely
we cannot
going
just hold
around.
we cannot just hold the doctors responsible. The doctors are largely responsible because, as I said, it's their primary duty. It's their hospital; they should be at their duty post, right? And then, so whatever happens at your duty post, you're going to be held responsible. So that I also agree. We should also, you know, hold factors responsible for you not being at your duty post at that time. We should also put that in account as well. So while we're blaming the doctors, we also should be looking at, you know, I don't want to say blame yet, but the federal government for actually, you know, not meeting their demands early enough for them to, not necessarily even meeting their demand, be able to actually, you know, come to an agreement with these resident doctors. 'Cause I know they met a day before or something like that. A day before, 2 days before the doctors went on strike. So for them to have gone on strike after meeting with, you know, the authorities and all that, meaning the decision or the conclusion wasn't favorable, right? So I think there should have been some sort of balance between them and the authorities, so they don't have to go on strike. So for them to have gone on strike at this point, so while we're blaming them, we should also hold, you know, the authorities responsible for the death of any patient. So everybody knows they're responsible for the death of these patients. So everybody can do their
Every hand
part,
is
play
on
their
deck.
part, you know, for all
Have their
that
own
to
parts
happen.
to play.
Exactly.
Right, move over to the Daily Trust newspaper, beginning from the very top. Ignorance, poverty pushed headsmen into crime, coming from Mieti Allah. And that story can be found on page 6. It's saying ignorance, poverty is what pushed headsmen into crime in the country. And talking about kidnapped Kaduna RCC members, 5 more students have been released. That particular story can be found on page 6 of the Daily Trust. And then Aisha Buhari's views, truthful but controversial. That's coming from Osinbajo, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that particular story can be found on page 7 of the Daily Trust. And moving over to the very obvious headline, talking about gunmen hitting another police formation in Imo State. And we have 5 riders underneath that story. Target area command in Abia, raise community in Ondo, abduct doctor nurse in Ogun. And then the third one is 3 killed in Kwara, 4 along Abuja-Lokoja Highway. The fourth is Nigeria's unity existence under threat, coming from the federal government. And the last rider under that story is bandits don't deserve to leave, coming from the governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai. And then under the picture of the day where we see an empty hospital as, you know, the doctors in Abuja are on strike, talking as the strike persists, we're seeing some hospitals, you know, empty, the beds empty, no patients, no doctors. Then the headline under that picture of the day is nurses, lab scientists idle as doctors strike continues. And just to get, you know, some sort of analysis, you know, backstory on that story is you can grab the news, the Daily Trust newspaper, and see that on page 30. And we have 3 headlines underneath that story. Man kills ex-lover, 2 children, set self ablaze in Ibadan. And that can be found on page 38 of the newspaper. And low public awareness on CBN interventions worrisome, coming from Emefiele, the Central Bank of Nigeria governor. And then the last one is mom stunned after discovering son's bride is her long-lost daughter. Wow. That can be found on page 32 of the Daily Trust newspaper.
That is the most controversial story I've heard in a long time. I'm interested in reading
Dramatic,
that one.
controversial,
Very-
everything, I mean.
Wow. Okay.
Funny it's funny too.
I don't know how to place it, but yeah. So moving away to the, you know, last newspaper we're going to be looking at this morning, that's the Business Day. And then, you know, the gaping headline on the Business Day says, global demand for talent shrinking Nigeria's manpower. And beside that, Nigeria's food inflation among world's highest. And then inside the Business Day, Lagos FCT, 3 others account for 53% e-payment in 2020. Those are the headlines on, you know, Business Day this morning. That one says global demand for talent is shrinking Nigerians' manpower. So basically, the young talented Nigerians are leaving the country because, you know, there's demand for their skill and the skill set, their intelligence and all that stuff outside of Nigeria. And so they're leaving the country and going where they feel as though
to the detriment of
their skill is
own country.
needed and appreciated, and then like you said, to the detriment of Nigeria. And I hope since we're
But
saying
then again,
that,
we cannot blame them, yeah?
that's what I'm saying. So since we're saying that, the authorities are saying that, the numbers are adding, the numbers, you know, is showing in the numbers. I hope things can be put in place to
ensure that they stay.
To entice people enough to stay, and then we can also entice people, you know, to come back home and do stuff here. That's kind of tricky because once you've, you know, tested the waters and you've seen that look, I think I'm better off here. Then it takes a lot to you to say, for you to say, okay, I have to come back and do this back home. And so measures have to be put in place. Like we said yesterday, policies, everything has to be put in place to ensure that Nigeria is conducive enough, not just safety, it has to be safe because that's priority, that's paramount, but conducive enough, you know, to want to harness your skill, put it into use and, you know, further develop the country. For everyone. I mean, Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. We shouldn't be seeing deficit in the number of manpower and talents that we have in the country. It's not good for the country at this point. So things should be done to ensure that happens.
I agree with you.
Okay, that's the much we can take on the newspaper segment of the conversation. We'll be going on a break now. And when we come back, I'll be taking you through what is trending on social media. of the conversation, talking about what's trending on social media. Yes, I like that I have to bring you, all of the stories that I'm trending, what people have been talking about on social media. And talking about social media, don't forget you can join the community and be a part of the conversation by simply following us across all social media platforms. TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. It's TOS TV Network on YouTube. And don't just watch the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on anything that we have lined up for you. And also, check out our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Okay, as I always say, bringing you back into, what's trending on social media. So, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has been trending. So yesterday, she had a book launch for her book titled Aisha Buhari Being Different. The book launch held in Abuja and had quite a number of notable figures in attendance. And, the launch was carried, I think some of the headlines across the newspapers that we read this morning also spoke about
even the money that was generated,
what was generated, what people said, and all that stuff. So that happened yesterday. And then, people always have something to say, right? Nigerians always have something to say about something that happened. And they said, this isn't different. They've been talking about the book launch. And I'm going to read out a few tweets to that regard. I'm going to start. The first one is from our First Ladyship. She says, Tinubu said, and I quote, Aisha Buhari's achievements have shown the need for the office of the First Lady. So, did Buhari tell Tinubu he now recognizes her office in his dream? Meanwhile, Aisha only came back to secure her bag since her husband will be away in London for 2 weeks. And then this other one is from Miss Carzola 1. And she says, Aisha Buhari missed her husband's birthday, a very important day in a couple's lifetime. Buhari missed his wife's book launch, a landmark event comprising of 12 prominent billionaires. Something is not adding up in Aso Rock. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Jibril of Sudan. Okay. And then this one is from Festus Green. In response to, this tweet by Sodiq Tade saying, I don't know why Tinubu and Oshibanjo are trying to compliment Aisha Buhari for doing nothing. Aisha that was unable to get her cousin a Cuba ticket in 2019 will be the one to influence Tinubu's ticket in 2023. Laughing loud, I'd rather praise Sabu than waste my grammar on Aisha. And then in response to that, Festus Green is saying, Aisha Buhari that Abba Kyari chased out of Aso Rock, Aisha that lives in Dubai, shops in France, and do medicals in England, allow Tinubu to continue his Saraka in the north. I'm very sure that religious and political leaders will instruct their subjects to where to vote. And then the last one is from @FS_Yusuf_. At least Patience Jonathan would lament mixed up a grammar over kidnapping and killings in the country. Aisha Buhari stayed in Dubai for 3 months while women and children are getting roasted by terrorists. Upon her arrival, says want to launch a book for hungry Nigerians to read. Apparently Nigerians are not happy about this.
Definitely.
Not necessarily Nigerians, but
there's so much controversy surrounding the family,
Yeah.
in Asovia, in Abuja here. So whatever comes from the presidency, people are wanting to, what's coming now?
And
We're talking about
criticize,
the father of the house, which is the President Muhammadu Buhari,
yeah.
traveling outside on his routine. We have the wife here in Abuja. So what's happening with this family here? Anything that comes from the family, people want to know, and they always have something to say. So it's from the look of things that Nigerians they have no chill.
No joy. No joy, in local parlance. This is what
but would you really blame them?
Honestly, I'm sitting on the fence on this one, right? I do understand that people will do whatever they want to do. So if amidst everything that's happening in the country, the First Lady wants to, launch a book, it takes a lot to actually write a book and launch it, right? And if she's deciding that, this is the right time for me to actually launch this book, okay, let her do it. Now, people that are still having fun and doing events and traveling despite everything that's happening in the country. So why can she not launch a book at this time? But there's also so much expectations, because of she doesn't really necessarily have an office, right? But because of, the pedestal, she's a wife of the president of the country. So people felt like she should be more concerned about more pressing issues than launching a book, like the issue of insecurity, abductions, especially of women and children. She should be looking towards doing all of that. But I know she does have a foundation that caters to, the Aisha Buhari Foundation does cater to all of those stuff. And I know that even while she's outside of the country, things are still ongoing. So I do know, not necessarily sure, but I do think that a foundation would have been doing stuff, to cater to children, displaced children, all that stuff. So while she's doing that, while she has people handling that, she also people multitask all the time. People have, focus on different things all the time. She's also a person, regular human being like us. Like somebody said, she wants to secure the bag. Okay, it's expected. People do business and want to, focus on, we have different businesses. While this is ongoing on, I can also focus on this one at the same time. So I don't see that as a problem. But also, I also understand where Nigerians are coming from. There's the agitation, like, look,
there's an expectation
yes,
from
an
them.
expectation from this person. And then, talking about, Tinubu saying we have to set up an office of the First Lady. The controversy that Tinubu is looking to vying for the seat of the president and is looking for all the support that he can get at this time. So I think there's a torturing. People are just, whatever he does is tied to the fact that, you're looking for somebody to support you for your agenda for 2023. So I don't think there's anything you can do.
Everything
at this
happening
time
is some
that
sort of
people
build-up
cannot,
to the election. They were always connected.
Exactly.
Things will always be attached and they will connect it and say, look, we know why doing this. Even if you don't, it's very possible that there was not such thing as a connection between the action
That's what I'm
and
saying.
the elections. But
So, but I do
just say,
know
you
that
know
anything
what
that
you're
happens
doing
at
and
this time is going to be tied to the election. So I think it's just like, it should bear with us.
It's the drama for me, really.
It's really the drama for me. Okay, that's it on what's trending on social media. We're going to go on a break now, like I like to call the most important break of all. When we come back, Masterful will be taking us through what he likes to call the crux of the conversation. Don't go anywhere.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV Africa.
Welcome back to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And don't forget, you can always be a part of, the conversation as a show on our social media platforms across, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, subscribe on our YouTube channel, TOS TV Network. And also you can stream the program on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. It's that time of the show where we'll bring you what I like to call the crux of the program, the conversation, and that is the big story. Yeah, thank God it's Friday, it's the end of the week. The end of the week in quote, we have other weekends, we have other dates. People like to say Saturday is the end of the week, but me, I think Friday. From Friday, we start counting down, start the plans, chilling and relaxing and everything. But, we've had different topics, from the beginning of this week, starting from Easter Monday, where we spoke about, the management, leadership of Jesus Christ and how we can learn as a country. On Tuesday, we also had, we spoke about human rights and everything. We've pretty much touched some salient issues in Nigeria, even ease of doing business and everything. But I want you to share with me, what do you think is one of those, topics that caught your attention the most?
I think my favorite, topic or discourse this week was the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
My favorite as well.
I think it caught me.
I think you like money. That's what I think. Anything business, you like it.
No, it's not business.
I think you should open shop already.
Wow. It's not the business per se. It's the, growth and development. And I'm all for growth and development. And I think that, doing business in Nigeria, transaction really is how we can, grow the economy of Nigeria. So anything that eases or touches on the issue of how we can further grow the country, especially Nigeria has one of the youngest populations in the world, and then it's predicted that in 5-10 years from now, Nigeria's will have the most young people in the whole world, right? We're not even going to be looking at India or China or any of those countries. So we're looking towards that. And how can we harness, this young talents that we have? We spoke early today of, Nigeria missing out on talents because there's a global demand for the talents and the skilled, and then it's more favorable out there. So why don't just leave it other than to stay here? If that keeps happening, in the next 10 years, manpower will have shortage of manpower, right? And then if we do have shortage of manpower in the country, it's going to tell on the economy and the growth of the country. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So I'm very, very particular about whatever we need to do to grow the country, especially for young people. So that topic, ease of doing business, was my favorite, right? Because I'm all about policies, measures that can be put in place to ensure that people can, comfortably first and then conveniently second do business in Nigeria, and then so we can make profits, and then so we can look towards I've done importing things from wherever. Since I can find it here in Nigeria, we have in Aba, for instance, the manufacturing there is insane, like on a good note. If we can invest in that sector, in that part of the country,
it's like a manufacturing
hub of Nigeria. If we can look at that and investing in that, I don't think there's anything we cannot get from there.
We've always been talking about made in Nigeria products, manufacturing things and everything.
Exactly.
Really, if business was, if business can be conducted by young people easily in this country, we will not have so much problems. Talking about made in Nigeria, people should try and patronize. Of course, people want to do business. People are passionate. You have conversations with Nigerians on a daily, and what they'll tell you is, look, I want to do this, I want to do this. But when you ask them, when are you starting? Like, it's hard. And you're asking them what's happening, but you can't really ask them because you know yourself.
Understand it
yourself. Like what I said yesterday, it affects everybody, but the business people affects them the most. Talking about where the capitalization issue, where they have to get loans from to start the project, where the money they have to pay to rent a shop. Those policies, bottlenecks that, look, before you do this, you pay for this, VAT, taxes.
Exactly.
People are saying, look, can we continue? And the basic amenities of life as well.
Of course.
Electricity.
Infrastructure.
We're talking about fuel, the hike in fuel and everything. So you may call them little things, but really they're all
like a factor that contributes to successful
people
business.
And their business.
Yeah,
so yes, if in as much as we want to say we want the government to do their part, to make sure the environment is stable, we itemize some people who are doing great things, in the lines of businesses. And when you have a conversation with them, what they tell you is, against all odds, despite all odds, you've been able to stay. So it's more like an eye-opener for young people out there to look, we're Nigerians, we have that blood of, we can push, we can hustle, we can work. The way we are structured,
it's not.
I may not be a fighter physically, but you can
I said it yesterday.
Tenacity of Nigerians, and I think people should leverage on that.
It's pretty normal for a Nigerian to tell you that I have a side hustle, or I'm looking for a side hustle. Like, I don't think you actually necessarily meet in Nigeria, especially a young Nigerian
I'm working with my work.
Even a Nigerian that has a regular 9-to-5 or 8-to-5 job, they still have businesses and tell you, okay, I'm doing this on the side. So Nigerians are very industrious people. So why not make things easy for them? If you put this tenacity in the industry, like being industrious, and then ease of doing business, we have all these three factors working in this country. Trust me, I don't think we'll still be here talking about Nigeria needs to get here. Nigeria needs to get here. We're talking about we would have gone past development and looking at growth. I think growth is. They say it's always the same, but I think some persons have said, look, we need to get past that place where we're talking about the development and we're looking at, look, we're growing.
We're actually doing. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that was it. Let's just away from this business.
TGIF, I know.
It's TGIF. It's the end of the week. The end of the week still in court because Friday is the beginning of the end of the week. You know why?
I know we're coming.
Friday is the beginning of the end of the week.
I understand, yeah.
So we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Though we're always here to dish out content.
Exactly.
We're always here to dish out content for you. But look, we actually do need to chill as well.
Okay.
So we spoke about one of the stories on the newspaper headlines this morning.
Yeah, the one that talks about Jabi Lake.
Jabi Lake,
being a hub of tourism in Abuja.
Like talking about $1 million worth of, the money that was going to go in. So I really think, like we've been saying, personally, I'm of the opinion that we need to channel more energy towards the tourism sector.
Yes,
there is so much that can be done in that sector. Before we talk about this issue, because I know you have so much things to say.
Okay.
Now, we're talking about people, chilling and resting. If you have an idea for a vacation, to just chill, spend time with yourself in Abuja, or the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, where would it be?
In Abuja.
Okay, let me know, make it really
Can you not
small.
just
Let me
narrow
just
it
say
down?
that in Nigeria, as a country.
In Nigeria.
I know you want to be to Paris and France, and you want to be to
Not
Africa and
necessarily.
everything.
No, I wasn't even looking towards outside of
Okay.
Africa, because there's so many beautiful countries. I do a program, My Heritage, right?
I know that. Okay, I'm asking for your choice.
And then on that, like while
Yeah.
doing all of that, and I see like this. Africa is really beautiful. Trust me.
It is.
As in the
It
tourism
is.
sector in Africa is still very underexplored. It's intense. It's breathtaking. And so, like, I would want to visit African countries more. But if you're asking me for Nigeria, I haven't visited so many states in Nigeria, or so many tourist sites in Nigeria. But I do know there's somewhere in Kaduna State. I can't remember.
Is that Fifth Chuka?
No, it's a castle.
Okay.
It's a castle.
Kajuri Castle.
Kajuri Castle. That's it. Good. That's where I want to be for the weekend.
Okay.
Just being in that castle, like the site, that's the infrastructure, that's the structure of the buildings, German-like and all of that stuff, the structure itself, and then the history there.
The design, the artwork, and everything.
The architecture. That's what I was trying to talk about. The architecture, the history there, because I know like they have I think a dungeon there that they have history. The history, the architecture, the sites, just saying at the rooftop and seeing the side, and then there's the pool area. It's breathtaking.
Yeah,
I can already picture myself
it's a
there.
proof that we have Nigerians doing great things.
Great
I mean, this may
things.
not come from the government, it may not
Yeah.
come from, it's people who are passionate about tourism, passionate about doing business here, and it's working. Really, trust me. I always tell you, every time I tell you, I'm an adventurous person.
Yeah.
So I can list places. Just from my head, I can just keep telling you, okay, if you want to be in Bauchi,
No, so where would you want to
go
be?
to the
One.
Yankari. There are so many places.
One.
Really.
That's what I said. One.
Okay, I'm going to tell you in Abuja here. I'm just going to go to there's a place called what's it now? Ushafa Crossrock.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
part.
so it's
beautiful,
really
the
beautiful.
rock
There's
and
like
then the
water and everything. Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
and really,
But you can't stay there for the weekend.
you can. Why not? Camping is one of the things that we also need to explore.
Yeah,
as
camping.
people who are adventurous,
Yeah.
talking about tourism and
Yeah.
everything. Let's make it, very habitable for people to, come, relax there. There are structures put in place because there's so many places. We have the Yankari Games Reserve, I think in
Bauchi State.
Yeah, we have so many places really. But for me, in Abuja, just to spend the 3 days, 2 days or 1 day or anything, it should just be.
So for you,
just
it's
camp around there and
Crossrock.
just enter the water. The water is it for me.
It's
I
blue
like to swim.
and it's really beautiful. But
Yeah.
mine is the Kajuri Castle. Come
But
on.
really, we can't keep saying that government, they need to really do their
There's
part
a
to
lot that
ensure
we- there's a lot
this
that
tourism,
Nigeria needs
because
to look at.
really, we're still at the foundation, and yet people are appreciating it. You see, we see the young Nigerians always moving. There's this tweet that always says, when you come to Abuja, you see people always hiking. You see them, they're hiking, they're swimming, they're in waterfalls and everything. That's to show that people are really passionate about this. So if the government can, channel some sort of resources towards that, like they've started doing
I
already,
like the one, the Jabi
extend their like reach, touching all these places, you will see people definitely will start to come in. I can assure you. People already coming in. I made friends from, meeting people in different places, just chilling, traveling and coming in. So it's one sector that I think we have to, place more focus on.
Tourism, like basically the hospitality or certainly the tourism sector is one sector that Nigeria needs to look into. There's so much money to be made if we just look into that sector. But before we start to make money, we have to ensure that our tourist sites are tourist sites.
Tourist side,
Do
really.
you understand? Like it's attracting or attractive enough to attract not just Nigerians, but foreigners and events. People want to travel. People want to visit places. There's eyes in Africa. People want to come to these places. I know people go to Cape Verde, Senegal, and all of those countries because they've seen. We have parks. We have parks in Nigeria. There's so much that needs to be done. And I also think that we as Nigerians should see, our our tourist sites as not just see it as my own, because I know sometimes when you visit a tourist site, there are people there who want to just phone money from you and do all of that
Yes,
stuff.
and get
There's no maintenance even. People don't maintain the places. They just once you go
Not
there,
the structure and leave it.
Yes.
So you come there in the next 5 years and you're like, is this what I saw before?
Even the people of that community, what they should be made. I think sensitization too is something that should be done. They should be made to understand that look, this can make so much money for this community.
So much
this
money.
can help boost this community, because if you have inflow of people coming in, there's going to be development in that community, because
And jobs
the
will be
market,
created for the
job
people,
creation,
yeah.
the markets, because once people come in, they want to also explore localities, local foods, local maybe accessories, outfits, and all of that.
So in
they want
large
to look
extent, it
at
affects
that.
development.
It
of
affects
the
development
country.
of the country. First, the community with
Yes.
the attraction is located at, and then the country at large. So sensitization, we need to make these people look at, look, it's not necessarily the government's work. So if you can do what you can do to actually maintain. Sometimes you go to tourist sites in Nigeria and you just see the people, you'll be like, is this what I've heard about? This is what I've seen. And then sometimes it's really beautiful. I know the Obudu Cattle Ranch. I think a few years ago, 10 years ago, it was really amazing. But people will tell you now that it's like a shadow of what it used to be. No maintenance. People just look at it like, oh, the state government isn't focusing on it anymore. So I think maintenance is one issue that we have
to focus on.
maintenance, and then we also have to recreate it and refurbish it to look like a tourist attraction site. Attractive enough. That's why it's called an attraction site.
Yeah.
Attractive enough, to pull people in. Once you begin to pull people in, the resources begin to follow. And when the resources begin to follow, then development and growth begin to follow. And that's how we can also look towards diversifying the economy away from oil and maybe technology, and then we can look towards making money from tourism as well. I'd love that. Trust me.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, that's so much we can take on the conversation this morning, or for this week even.
Yes.
We'll be back on Monday, but thank you so much for joining us on the conversation. From Monday through to today, Friday, we're really grateful, to have you, to have to come here every day and bring you all this and then just laugh and have fun with you. Thank you again for joining us on the conversation. Don't forget, you can be a part of the community. Just follow TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also check out our website, www.tostvnetwork.com, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, TOS TV Network, so you do not miss out on anything. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on a number of amazing programs and news programs that we have lined up for you on there. I'm Ade Suelsi.
And I am Merciful Ajinomo. Thank you so much for watching.
And see you on
Have
Monday.
an amazing weekend.